Well, a very good to you from wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much for choosing Y254 TV. This is your #1 youth station. We're coming to you live from the broadcasting house here in Nairobi, Kenya. Remember that this show comes each and every Thursday, and the repeat of this show airs again every Friday at noon. So be sure to tune in to this particular repeat tomorrow on Friday. My name is Ram Aguko. This is Power Talk. It's a pleasure being with you on this fine Thursday evening. And like any other show, we're here to keep you inspired and motivated. On this particular Thursday evening, let's talk about building blocks to personal success. Do you want to be successful in what you do? Do you want the work of your hands to prosper? Are you interested in getting or kickstarting your idea and ensuring that you see it through till the end? Your year has started. We are in the month of February, and you still want to achieve that goal. Well, this show is for you. To help us in this conversation, I'm with none other than Hery Henry. He is a moderator, a speaker, an international speaker for that matter. He is a conference speaker and a sustainability expert. Karibu sana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be on your show.
Great to see you too, my brother. It's been a while since we last saw each other. How long has it been?
It's been 2 weeks short of a year.
Yeah, 2 weeks short of a year.
Exactly.
Yeah. How was your trip to Kenya? You arrived yesterday?
Brilliant. I had 10 hours of uninterrupted flight time to do a lot of work to get prepared and to work on my goals as anyone should. Right?
Okay. Thanks so much for coming. And I invite each and every one of you that is watching from home, be part of this conversation, okay? Head over to our Facebook page, that's at Y254. Drop in your comments on the comment section. You will see a picture, a very nice picture, a fantastic picture of the both of us. Let us know where you're watching us from. Drop in your comments on the comment section below. Tell us, what are some of the building blocks to personal success? Okay, and engage with us. The hashtag is Power Talk Show. My handle is at Ram Maguko. The official station handle is at Y254 channel. Power Talk starts now. Let's talk about success first. Hery, success is defined by different people using so many different ways. And before we get into the nitty-gritties, let's define it. For somebody who is watching it today, how would you define success?
I was afraid you'd ask that. It is a tough one. So if you want it in one line, I'd say success is measured in happiness, right? If you're happy where you're at, who you're with, and with the process that you have to work throughout every day, right? Then you're happy. And if you're not happy in what you do, you can't really be the Cristiano Ronaldo or the Michael Jordan of your craft, right? Because you need to grind, you need to work on your craft every single day. And motivation only comes easily if you actually like what you're doing.
There's this speaker who I heard, and he mentioned a very interesting point, very intriguing for me. And he said that you don't have to be happy about it. And this is what caught my attention. So he says that sometimes he wakes up to go to work. Yeah. He has to do some things that for him seem to be uncomfortable.
No, of course.
But he has to do it.
But here's the key, right? So because no one is motivated all the time, right? We can't be motivated all the time, so we have to be disciplined all the time. Right? And motivation is more difficult to learn. It's discipline that you lead with, and once this another funny quote is the heaviest weight at the gym is the door, right? So you need to get there. Once you're there, it gets easier. Once you're in your flow for 10 minutes, it gets easier. If you're someone who runs, once you've been running for 10 minutes, the discomfort starts going away. So it's the discipline to get started, and most people don't have that. As far as I understand. What I see is people procrastinating for 40 minutes about something that they'll then have to do anyway. They'll think about doing something for longer than it would take to try what it would feel like to do it.
And actually do it.
And actually do it. And so if you can shorten that frame of discomfort, and emotionally we feel discomfort every time we try something that's difficult to us, right? So it's something new. But we have to try constantly difficult and new things in order to progress. And so the smaller the window of discomfort is before we take action, the more action we take in a shorter time period, the more successful we are, right? Very simple. Then, sorry, go on.
And you have to go out of our comfort zone.
Well, if you want something that's not within your comfort zone, and for most people that is certainly true, then yes, most certainly we have to go outside of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
But what's difficult is the allocation of time, right? So if there's one thing that sort of you need to get absolutely right, and I think everyone, including myself, everyone struggles with this, is everyone has the same amount of time. 1% roughly of your decisions really matter. 1% roughly of the time that you use really matters. It's just really difficult to make sure that you understand which 1% matter, right?
I love that. And let me bring in your own experience to this particular matter. We're talking about success. Now, to all of us, we cannot all say that we've achieved everything. We can't say that we've achieved all that we've always wanted. Unless there's somebody that exists there that has actually done it all, and you're saying, you know what, I'm successful, there's nothing more that I need to do. But from your experience, what are some of those common mistakes that people do, that people make, that hinder them from being successful? Though they keep on talking about, I want to be successful, I want success, yet they still keep on making these mistakes. Just to mention
okay, three things, right? Three things that I think are going to be slightly unpopular with some people listening, because people want it to be a little bit easier. One is people just don't work hard enough, right? So I have questions when, if you sleep 8 hours, which you should do, and you work 8 hours, or which again your day job will probably provide, then you've done 16 hours, you've got another 8, right? So what are you doing with those? Because if you've always dreamt about your side hustle, but you watch 3 hours of Netflix, then let's have a conversation about watching 1 hour of Netflix and then working for 2 hours consistently 5 days a week, which equates to 520 hours of working on your dreams per year, right? So especially if you're in your 20s and early 30s, right? Now is your time to build the foundation for what you leave as a legacy, right? It gets easier with time once you get momentum.
I love what you said, especially within your 20s and your early 30s.
Absolutely.
And of course, a majority of our viewers fall within this particular gap here. Early 30s and 20s.
Absolutely, and you have nothing to lose, right, at that time, because you have time. You have time to correct. Whatever mistake you make at 21, it's learning, right? You have so much time to correct. Right. The other problem that I see, the second one is, there is a fear of judgment that we all have to different degrees, right? And so before we take action, we check with lots and lots of irrelevant people. Right? So we take advice from our mom for our business. I love my mom, don't get me wrong. She has lots of good advice on lots of things, but not business, because it's not what she does. So we listen to negative advice and judgment from lots of people who don't have what we want and haven't gone on the path that we want to go on. Right? So people stop taking action because they're so afraid of people judging them. And so your certainty is not predicated on the opinion of others. Your certainty is only predicated on your own opinion of yourself and what you want to be doing. Right?
Because sometimes we end up trying to assert ourselves based on the wrong perceptions. We give ourselves images that actually we should not own.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So I think that's two very simple ones, right? So the fear of judgment, and then the third one is getting out of your comfort zone, as in taking enough action. So people don't move enough, people don't do enough, people sit and wait. How often have you heard the sentence, right? So I had that idea years ago. Or that is so simple, I could have come up with that, right? An app that tells you when the taxi comes, right? But you didn't do it, that's the difference. Someone took action. Most people go, I have a great idea, then they go, if it's a great idea, someone else has already had it. And then they go ask their aunt, and their aunt says, it's a bad idea, you're going to lose your livelihood. And then you don't do it, right? So take more action, just do more stuff.
Yeah, take more action. And this is something that we all need to take note on. Do what we are telling you today. Because if you look at the steps that you ought to have made, you actually could have been so far, you could have progressed. But because you do not consider such things, and sometimes you take them lightly, we end up not actually achieving what we wanted or what we could have achieved.
Oh yeah, look, I worked for a company where they thought the internet was a fad, right? And they were saying the internet is going to go away, we're not going to invest in that. Yeah, same company, still existing quite well, 10 years later said, no, LinkedIn is a fad, we shouldn't invest any time in it, right? So right, and there's still people there who say TikTok is for children. Well, The Rock says otherwise. The Rock, or, every big actor, every big public speaker, and every politician says otherwise, right? So who are you, right, to make that judgment? So one easy way, if you're looking for something, when you're looking for the next big thing, so one good way of finding something that's going to be very interesting potentially very soon is you go into the App Store, the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, and you look at the top 50 apps, right, that have the most growth in downloads. And you look at the top 10 and everyone knows them, right? So people are still downloading Facebook as an app, right? But then you'll have an interesting few that are starting to trend. And being an early adopter on those, for like a new social media, for example, means that you get lots of organic views at a time when no one else is there yet. Become an incumbent, right? So if you're looking for a new thing, the other thing I'd like to mention is that everyone's buzzing about ChatGPT at the moment, right? So artificial intelligence.
Yes, and I heard that Google is coming up with its own.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Microsoft Bing search engine is relaunching with AI features.
Yeah,
Microsoft, sorry, that way around. Yes, Google has ChatGPT, and we've got Bing coming out now with AI, and everyone is, right? But the interesting thing here is, right, so how long does it take you to really become quite good at something exciting and new, right? So this data shows that you learn the most in the first 20 hours of focused work. So you can become quite good at something already in 20 hours, and I mean quite good in the British way, as in very good, right? And so if you're young and you're cash poor and time rich, do you think over this year, over 2023, you have enough time to spend 100 hours on educating yourself on something like AI? Because it's going to change your life, right? So invest the time. Most of the time people don't, because they're like, oh yeah, but I don't get paid for it, or there might not be something at the end. You don't know that because you haven't tried. You haven't taken action, right? So take a bit of action.
So stop assuming there won't be any money or you won't get paid. You don't know that. Do it.
Also, terrible way to develop business is to assume that there's going to be money. Still half the time, I've done this for 20 years, I usually start working as if I'm already hired. I talk to people about solving problems, not about, I'll talk about your problem once we've agreed these fees. I'd never do that.
But at what point have you ever thought of money first?
When I've really, really badly needed it. So I'll admit that. But me thinking about money first doesn't translate necessarily in me talking money first, right? So I think about money all the time. That's not it. The point is, to get money consistently, you don't project desperation. I don't want a pity date. A pity date means you go on one date, you never get the second date, right? I don't want my service to be bought because someone wants to support me. I want my service to be bought because it's excellent. I lead with that, right? And so I usually start work, and then as we go along, I ask, well, would you like me to continue? Usually the answer is yes, and then we say, like, well, should we agree a fee? If I consult, for instance, if I'm in an advisory role.
Now, Hery, I want us to get into now some of the meat of this conversation here. The building blocks to personal success. Before we get into the blocks, I'm looking at it in terms of a building, okay?
Excellent.
Let's look at it in terms of a building. A three-story building, a tower.
Make it as high as you want.
Any size.
Right. So that's a really good metaphor, actually.
Yes. So let's start from the foundation. Foundations of success. Before we get into the pillars.
So let's do both. So let's do pillars last, but let's do foundation and rooftop, right? The beautiful rooftop terrace.
Yes.
So the beautiful rooftop is the vision. Where are you going, right? So your rooftop, in my mind, your rooftop terrace for this year is, where do you want to be on Christmas Eve?
Have the blueprint.
The vision. What's it going to look like? Okay. What's it going to look like, right? What is success going to look like for you this year, right? And then the foundation really is the foundation is your personal health, right, and your energy. Let's talk about energy levels, right? So if your nutrition, your sleep, and your physical health is right, you'll have more energy than the average guy or girl. you'll have enough energy to smash through your goals, right? So that you start with that. Personal health, that's the foundation of the house. And then you've got the pillars, and the pillars are habits, are your habits, right? So the walls of the house. That's your personal habits, your discipline, your time management habits, your cash management habits, your communications habits, right? So how are you able to communicate what you want to do so that people actually respond to you favorably and you actually manage to make headway? It's surprising to me how many people out there are unable to explain to me who they are or what their company does.
Well, now, you've gone a step ahead, and I love that.
Sorry.
I love that. So we have this building that we want to see get to that point where it looks good and it feels good to look at it. This particular building, and we are going to mention each pillar of success, each and every. We can't mention them and talk about each one of these particular pillars. Let's talk about that foundation. You mentioned your health, and I'm looking at your mental health, your physical health, psychological health, spiritual health. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Let's talk about how important these things are in success.
Yeah. So, question for the audience and for yourself as well, right? So, how long does it take you from waking up, all of us? How long does it take us from waking up to being peak productive? Right? For a lot of people, they wake up, if you're a grown-up, you have a little bit of neck pain, a bit of back pain, you're a bit slow, you drink your coffee, you commute somewhere, and eventually you start working. Yeah. People get up at 6 and they work at 8:30. Now you've lost 2.5 hours. Congratulations. Why? Right? So when you get up, first thing, habits, and because this is absolutely key, the way you start your day is the way you continue your day, right? You run the day or the day runs you. It's very simple. So you start the day right. So the first thing is you need to get your energy up, right? So you need to move first thing. You need to move enough. I do a morning routine every morning. Everyone I teach does a morning routine every morning. Minimum 4 minutes.
What is this morning routine?
Vigorous movement, right? So Tabata, 8 times 30 seconds of exercising, for example. Straight out of bed. Bam.
30 seconds of exercise.
8 times 30 seconds of exercise, right? So 8 different exercises, 4 minutes, right? Okay. 4 to 8 minutes. That's all it takes to wake the body up, right? If you want to go to the gym, that's different, but to wake the body and the mind up doesn't take longer than that. Go.
Okay. Like what exactly?
So jump out of bed, star jumps, press-ups, sit-ups, squats, running on the spot, boxing, right? Shadow boxing, just to wake yourself up, right? And what happens is your brain wakes up and your body wakes up. Then the second thing is, do you still remember what you're supposed to be working on today? Because it's really easy as an adult in a job. It's really easy just to let the day run you, right? So you go to work, you check your emails, you wait for your boss to come to you and tell you something that you need to do. That's not great, right? So you want to reconnect with your main goals for the year right away in the morning, right? So first thing that I do in the morning is I make sure I remember what the main outcomes, my must-win battles for the day are. And then I read widely after that for 10, 15 minutes just to get different ideas. Because otherwise, if I go straight onto my phone, then my thinking, my brain is hijacked, my focus is hijacked by whatever is in my emails. Right?
Now, are you referring to a checklist that you made the day before? I have the things you need to do during the day.
So I have a task list that I've made the day before. But that one's fairly simple stuff, right? So the task list is always there. But what I'm now referring to in terms of must-win battles is to make it really tangible and simple. Think of your big goal. Where do you want to be at the end of the year, right? So for me, for instance, I'll tell you later about that. I'm giving up all my income and then I want to triple it within 8 months. So I'm visualizing that for December. Right?
We will talk about that.
Let's do it. So I know that that's in December, right? So I need to build income streams. So my must-win battle for the year is building income streams, which means that every day I need to work on that. Otherwise, I won't get to that goal. So a must-win battle for me is a task that I choose every morning, 1 or 2, where I say, if I only do these 2 things, if everything else goes to hell, if my time gets hijacked, there's a water leak, whatever, if everything else goes to hell, if I do this 1 or these 2 things, I will still have had a good day.
Yes.
In line with my overall goal for the year.
The core tasks that I need to achieve, so much that if everything else fails, I will still be okay with how my day went.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you mentioned you don't like checking your phone in the morning.
I won't check it first thing. I wake up and I do other things first, because the thing is, whatever I see first, my focus will be on that. And so I need to make sure that I focus myself first on the must-win battles before I look at anything else. Because then everything else is noise, right? My subconscious has already has already absorbed the fact that I'm working on my must-win battles, right? So very tangible examples, right? Let's take two, right? So I take two must-win battles each day, one personal and one business. Personal one can be to make sure that I continue to become healthier and healthier. So one must-win battle for the day is to exercise for at least 30 minutes. Fine. That one's one.
In the morning.
At any time of the day. The morning routine is just 4 minutes. That's just to wake up.
So the morning routine is separate from the gym. Yeah.
Exactly. I do the gym separately. Yeah. Then the other must-win battle is usually, for instance, I need to have a certain number of phone calls in order for business, right? I need to get over myself and over my discomfort of calling strangers or half strangers to talk business to them and to see if I can get a meeting with them, for example. So I start with the day with those, right? I do those, I get the 5, 10, 15 calls out of the way. Something will stick, it'll give me momentum. At the end of the day, I'll say, well, even if this was a bad day, my flight was 6 hours delayed, whatever it was, I'll still be okay. I've done the minimum. And it's not really about winning on that one day. I'm looking at these 15 calls times 6 times a week, right? So I'm looking at 90 per week. I'm looking at 500 calls a year, right? So it's these small trickles. It's the aggregation of marginal gains. It's the small steps consistently taken that will definitely take me to my goal.
I love that. I love that. But now it's all about planning.
Absolutely.
It's all about planning.
Yeah.
Now we are talking about the foundation, still on the foundation there, of mental health and physical health. You touched on the physical aspect, the physical health. What about mental stability, mental health? Because now we are seeing this young man, this Kenyan man watching you today, who is waking up in the morning and asking themselves, why do I need to go to work? Why do I need to wake up this early?
Yeah, I think, so mental health, I need to be careful in that I don't sort of talk outside of my expertise. I'm not a psychologist, but what I see and what I advocate, especially if you're young, full of energy, when you take action, you gather momentum. You'll take more action. The more action you take, the more small successes, the more progress you will make. The more progress you make, even in small ways, the more confidence you gain.
But and now, so, remember, even as Hery is talking, we are not looking at you speaking from as a psychologist.
Not at all, no, as a businessman.
As how you would do it, as an individual,
absolutely.
To maintain your mental sanity.
Yes. So for my mental sanity, especially when I'm very upset, right? So let's say a big customer has canceled an order and I actually needed the money.
Yes.
Right? Or I've made 100 calls and no one's wanted to talk to me and people say, happens, right?
Yes.
Just because I'm the boss doesn't mean I don't do the work anymore, right? So then I'm down, right? And so, again, for me, step one foot in front of the other. Take action, make progress, motivation, right? So you take action. The more action you take, the more little successes you have. When you have little successes, it's good for your confidence. Confidence is good for your mental health. And that's it. And so you can't wait your way out of a bad mood. Like we're very well built as humans in the sense that we actually have it in our own hands, right? So for instance, you'll never find anyone who is in a terrible mood right after exercising unless they got injured, right? There's no one who's in a bad mood if they've been dancing for 10 minutes, right? It's impossible. Put on good music and dance. It's impossible to be in a bad mood, right? You call your best friend and talk about football for 5 minutes, right? So we have so many mechanisms. We've just kind of, as humankind, we've kind of forgotten a little bit how much natural stuff we have, and we take all kinds of medicines and things, and we use alcohol and whatnot as placebos. But really, it's all in our own hands. Get up, move, do stuff. You'll feel better, even if you just write an email in the right direction. You'll feel better than before, right?
I want us to take a short break. And
Absolutely.
And then after this break, now we'll get into the pillars that build up this building. let's talk about goals,
Yeah.
goal setting. Let's talk about the SMART goals. Let's talk about, branding, personal branding, and how that plays a role in terms of being part of the building blocks to a personal success. Let's
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
the aspects of timekeeping. And
Absolutely, yes. That's
Yeah.
favorite topics. And planning, of course, I think we need to lead with that.
planning.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do that after this break. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all about building blocks to personal success. I hope you're taking notes, yeah? Get a book. If you're a parent, tell your child to come to the sitting room. Let's have this show. After this break, we'll be back with Hery Henry. This is Power Talk. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We continue with this evening conversation right here on Power Talk. My name is Aguko. If you've just joined us, you're in time for this particular conversation right here on building blocks to personal success. I want to check your feed. Let me head over to our Facebook page, and that's at Y254, and see what you guys are saying on that particular platform. Remember to drop in your thoughts on that particular area. That's at Y254. Let us know where you're watching us from, and we really value your feedback. Okay, so this is, I don't know, Ama Timothy, do you have them? Are you going to bring it up? Amesema saizi? Bado? Oh, when you're ready, utaniambia. But let me just go through them, okay? So this is Jakes Dexter, locked in from KU. Thanks so much, Jakes. That's Kenyatta University. Sinta Waithera, say, wow, interesting. Hopefully I will learn. Thank you so much, Sinta. Yesu wa Tongaren, sema Yesu asifiwe sana. Praise Jesus. And of course, Sinta is saying, I'm really learning. Thank you. Hery, I have a question. There's a question here.
I'm ready.
I wish Timothy would display it. I don't know. I wish this was displayed. Okay, let me just go through it. Say, I have this business plan. I have been planning for a while, but then I'm scared to even start it. The main problem is being the main problem being capital. How do I go about this?
Well, I'd have to understand a little bit better about the business and what the capital need is for, right?
Yes.
But in general, I think everyone's looking for capital, and I think you're scared to start it, not because of capital. Most of the time, what I see is people are not scared to start it because they don't have enough capital, as they're scared that it'll fail. And so they'll never get started. But you don't know what it could be and how you could iterate it if you don't get going. So the first step of building a business is not choosing a legal entity form or registering a business. The first step of building a business is not building a website. The first step of business is to figure out one product or one service and find one customer. Right? Wow. That's what this is. You go out, you take whatever it is that you have, and if you need capital to get the product, let's say you're producing something, you need to first produce it. Not yet. Go find that customer. Go find someone who doesn't say, like your parents or your friends who say, like, it's a good idea. That's not the question. You're asking the wrong question if you go for, is this a good idea? You go for, would you pay for this and how much?
Yes.
And when you find someone who says, no, this is fantastic, I'd pay for this, then you have a customer. Now, note, now you have money. Okay, it's deferred, it's in the future, but now it's much easier to find capital against that. For say, if you're selling something for $100, you need $50 to produce the good. Now you have a commitment for $100. Finding capital is completely different. You're not going to find capital easily, at least, against the business plan if you can't demonstrate that someone wants your product.
Yes, you must
Does that make sense?
Demonstrate why you exist in the market.
Absolutely.
Why should I choose your product?
And it's super simple. One product or service, one customer. Go. Then replicate. And it's actually, business is a really simple game. People get distracted because they think they need all kinds of add-ons and other services. But you can your first step is to get, let's say, $100,000. or euros or pounds. And you get there by consistently doing one product well for one type of customer, right? And then you take it from there.
And one thing that you've mentioned, and these are very common trend, especially for Kenyans. Someone has a business, they say, let me go register it first.
Yeah.
Let me make
Not just Kenyans, that's everywhere in the world.
Everywhere in the world.
People spend a huge amount of time thinking what legal entity form, what it should look, the website. They're spending 2 weeks designing a logo for something that they're not even selling.
They're taking it to Facebook, Instagram, and they're looking for logos and telling people, subscribe to my page, subscribe to this, follow me here, I have this product. Yet you're not...
One product, one customer. Then one product, 2 customers. Then one product, 1,000 customers, and so on, right? First things first. I have a software company, I got to share this quickly, that makes websites, for example. And all our customers have fantastic websites. And our software company, it riles me. My software company has a bad website. It's not great. We haven't made one for ourselves.
But it makes websites for others.
Yes. Now people find this funny. I find this annoying. But the sole reason why that is because we have never needed a website to sell anything. Because all of our work, we go out, we sell something, one after the other, and for years and years now, all of the business comes in as a referral. Right, so we sold one website to one guy, and then we said to the guy, who else do you know who needs a website? And he referred us, and we went in, right? And we're now fixing the website, but because we want to, not because we need to, right? Unless it's an e-commerce website and all your fulfillment happens through the website. Not for us, we're a service company. So it would be easy to over-engineer this and go like, oh, let's spend a week with 10 people looking at the logo and our vision and mission and all of that. But let's do business, guys, and then we'll understand what our business is as well.
Stop focusing on the things that won't build your business up in the first place.
That's it. That's essentially it.
I love that. So before you go to that place, to register your business, get it running.
Yeah, make sure you have a business to register, right? And a business is something where you sell something to someone, right?
Yeah.
Remember this, guys. So if you pay, if you pay to have fun, that's a hobby. If you have fun to get paid, that's a business. Now you choose, right?
Say that again. Say that again.
So if you pay to have a good time, if you pay to have fun, that's a hobby.
That's a hobby.
Right? You pay money and then you get to golf or whatnot. You get paid for having fun. That's a business.
Ooh,
that's how it should be.
I want to be paid for having fun.
But you are.
Yeah.
We are. Both of us are, right? In a way.
Thanks, everybody, for your participation.
Great question, by the way. Great question.
Great question there. That is from Sinta. Thank you, Sinta. I hope you've been answered. A big thanks to I'm seeing Mutuku Kiduku. He's watching. This is Samuel. He's saying locked in live from Sienaga Massive in Siaya County. Thank you so much. I'm seeing Caris Paul Karaoke saying United Nyeri Coastlines Tambaya tuned in. Thank you so much. And Pale Y254 Safi, I see you there, my brother. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. I will keep on sampling your feedback as we proceed with this conversation. Now, let's head over to the pillars that build this house.
Right.
First things first, planning.
Yes, so we've discussed, we have the foundation, which is our energy and our health.
Yeah.
Then about planning, I mean, I can't stress this enough, and I understood this a little bit too late for my own liking. I learned the hard way. So research shows very clearly that you're 95% more likely to achieve a target if you've planned out the steps in writing, and not digitally, but in writing, right? So the simple thing to do, it's simple, it just takes a lot of energy to do it the first time, right? Is something I call, it's a fancy term for just planning, reverse engineering your goals. So retro planning, I call it, the retro planning template. So basically I say, this is where I want to be on Christmas Eve. I use Christmas Eve because it's my birthday, and it's at the end of the year, and I want to be off the week after that. At least that's the goal.
I'll make a point of remembering that.
Thank you. Well, it's easy to remember. There's another famous person who has their birthday on the 24th. So I write down very clearly what is it that I want to have achieved. what's the revenue of my company, what are my personal goals, everything.
Yeah.
And now that I know that, now that I know the target that I'm shooting for, I plan backwards. So what needs to be true in November so that that I get to my goal in December? October, September, August. I plan backwards. What do I need to do each month? And when I've written down what I need to do each month, what I need to achieve in terms of cash flow and so on, I break each month down into each week and then into each day. And now when you've done this a few times, what you realize is, okay, so it's actually just a lot of micro actions that will get you there. Let's say a job hunt, for instance, right? I just spoke to a young person who said, like, I'm so disheartened, I've written 35 applications and I didn't get a job.
There are people who've written more.
I wrote 127 in my time for my first job. So, but I said, well, let's play the numbers, right? So if you had gotten a job with 35 applications, you would be a magical outlier, like better than almost anyone else. Because at the moment, I checked this before, on average, graduates have to write close to 100 applications to get a job in Kenya. Okay, it's the same in London, right? Yeah. So if you've done 30 and you're disheartened, well, you haven't done the bare minimum, because the bare minimum in the law of averages is that you write 88, right? And so that's a lot of little actions. So now I plan this backward, right? So my plan is that in September I have a job, right?
Yes.
So now I know, okay, in order for that to work, the next 4 months I will probably have to write 1 job application per day, right? Then I will get to the 88, right?
Yeah.
The same is true for building business. I know that if I want a cash flow of X, Y, or Z, I know that I need to make a certain number of phone calls, a certain number of business development actions, a certain number of things, right? And I plan them down on the daily level, because then it becomes bearable. If I look at something that's going to take me 200 hours, it gets tough to start, right? I start my 200 hours, I'm like, oh God. If I break it down to, well, it's actually just an hour a day, or 2 hours a day, it gets much easier. So I'm like, I can do 90 minutes in the morning.
Yeah.
I finish my morning routine before the family wakes up. I have an hour, 90 minutes. I do that every day, and look at me go. In a month, I'm in a completely different place. But most people do 1 day, then 2 days, then they went out drinking, they had a hangover, they didn't do the 3rd day, then it was the weekend, then on the 6th day they did it again, and then they give up.
Hence the word consistency.
Consistency, absolutely, is everything, right? So if you do this now, if you set yourself a challenge for 100 days, right? For 100 days, I'll write 1 job application every day. I'll post once on LinkedIn every day. I will, whatever it is that you need to do, right? 100-day challenge. It gets easier after 30, because it takes about 21 to 30 days to build a habit, right? To build a muscle memory habit. That's how it takes. But it's small actions every day. By the way, you'll get quicker and quicker. Your job application 88 is a lot quicker to write than your job application 2. And you'll get the consistency in. And then you do this a couple times, guys. You do this a few times with a few things that are important to you. You'll gather momentum, and everything becomes easy because you know the exact process. This is it.
And let me just bring it even home. To be particular, even in terms of just an example. If you want people to notice you on social media, don't even tell someone, hey, follow me. Hey, please promote my page. No. Make sure that you have a post every single day. Yeah. For 100 days. And it will be promoted.
I think we're getting into the second pillar, which is personal brand now.
Yeah.
So if we leave this here, right? So planning is definitely one massive pillar, and consistency in executing the plan. That's one. Yeah. The second one, personal brand. I think this is where a lot of people go wrong needlessly. Right, so you're absolutely right. Like, again, consistency in promoting your brand, but here's one thing that's really, really important. No one who gets a pity date gets a second date. Okay, so asking for support and being sort of the sad case that needs help versus the one who provides value. I know exactly who my partner is going to be, right? The one who provides value up front. Figure out how. The second thing is, people need to really remember, no one likes being sold to, but everyone loves to buy. We all love making a decision, right? We all love the idea, I'm going to go and buy myself new shoes. That makes us happy. There's a dopamine hit, right? Yeah. So that's good. But if someone comes like, buy these shoes, You don't like that.
I wouldn't buy it.
No, you wouldn't. Why would you, right? And so this is what's happening, especially on social media now, because the ads keep flashing at you. People keep inboxing you. Hello, bro, here's my PDF. Look at my business plan. I'm like, you and the 17 others from this morning. Right? So it doesn't work that way. What people see is when the moment has come for them to buy, right? They remember you. Because you have provided value. So it's what you said about posting, right? So you post excellently. So I see your post, they pop up. I like something, which means that tomorrow I'm going to see your post again because I've liked the previous one. And you're talking about how you're moderating this, how you're hosting that. And when my time comes to buy a hosting service, a moderator service, well, because I remember you. And that's the power of personal brand.
And for the record, what Hery is talking about, it isn't just an example. It is the truth. Yeah. Because the truth is, I've actually gotten many comments when it comes to that. And what I learned is when you are consistent with building your brand, you don't need to tell someone, this is what I do. They will remember you because they always see you.
Yeah. And this is the thing that I think we should all remember. So people respect the work that you put in. So if you don't need to be fancy and have a methodology or have like a really great quote. Or a logo. Logo comes at some stage, right? What you need to be is, you need to be consistent in what you say so that you project integrity, right? And because you have two calling cards, right? You have a credit score and a calling card. Your calling card is your integrity in business. You do what you said you would on time and in full. And the other thing is, especially the younger you are, the more this is true, but I think it's true for everyone. Your work ethic is your credit score. I don't know if you do credit scores here. For us, it's a big deal in the UK, right? So your credit score with anyone you want to work with is your work ethic. Like you need to be seen as someone who says, I'm young, I don't know that, but I will find out and I will make it happen. So you're someone, you're a can-do kind of guy or girl, right? And you underline that with your work ethic, and that's your credit score.
Wow. Wow. Simple things, yet...
Yeah, simple. I mean, that's. I think we need to demystify this a little bit, right? Because there's a lot of sort of esoteric stuff like you need to drink kale juice and you have this method of time management and that method. And at the end of the day, it's actually a bit more simple than that. You just need the consistency with your personal habits. You need to make sure that you keep your energy levels high throughout the day by eating and drinking well, by sleeping enough and so on. You need to plan your goals out. You need to execute against them consistently, not have too many off days. And the other thing is nowadays, and this is really special, really important, I think we don't talk about this enough, you need to be nice.
Be nice to who? To people?
Absolutely everyone.
Clients?
Because not just clients, everyone around you, because your personal brand, people always watch nowadays, right?
Yeah.
And so you can't afford not to be nice. And there was always this, I grew up thinking like, with a phrase that was, the nice guy finishes last. Well, maybe that's right in the sandbox, but not in business, because business has a really long memory, and it's really easy to get a first sale, right? Because you convince someone, and people will take a chance. Like, fine, I'll have a pair of the discount shoes one time. First sale is not the problem. The problem is the second sale.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether they will come back again.
Get them to buy again. Right? Whatever it is that you do, it's not just selling. It's everything. Right. So it's the second invitation. Getting a second invitation, getting asked to do something again. That's always the really tricky thing, and that's the difficult thing to figure out. How do I project and carry myself in a way so that we build a relationship, not a sale?
And you need to ask yourself, if you don't get a second invite, why did I get it?
Yeah.
Where did I miss the mark?
Yeah. That's where I beat myself up the most. A lot of the time when I ask why I don't get it, it's actually something really simple, like, we have decided that we are going to use a different person every month for this, for diversity. And I'm fine. Okay. But then there's a power, right? So behavioral science identifies 5 power questions, which are much more helpful than others. And my favorite one is, what would it take to? Right, so I ask questions like, I don't go like, why did this go wrong?
Okay.
I go, what would it take for you to invite me again? What would need to happen so that you'd buy from me again? Sometimes the answer is, well, never. You've ruined it. So I'm like, okay, fair enough. We'll shake hands on that. I'll take the learning on board, and we'll do better.
Still doesn't matter.
Okay, and I will write it into my CRM, and I'll contact that guy in a year again, right? Because you don't give up, right? But that's what it's about, right? So it's about asking the kind of question that focuses our mind on a solution.
Hery, time management.
My favorite topic.
Very important.
Yeah.
Yet sometimes we assume that, and you see there's this phrase, I know you've heard it, African timers. I don't know if you've heard of it?
Yeah.
Someone will ask you, are you coming at 7, the African time or the European time?
Yes. Yeah. So I run an event tomorrow, and I'm hoping that everyone will come European time. Otherwise, the food will be gone and cold. But whenever I've come to see you, it's always been European time in that sense. So because it's been live TV. So, but time management, I think, sort of people meeting and having a little bit of freedom in meeting up is one thing. I'm more worried. I don't think we should talk too much about timekeeping culturally. I think what I'm more interested in is how do you use your time, right, as an individual. Like, how do you do this? And so what we need to be really religious about is two things. One is using our time well, so not spending a lot of time of thinking about doing something that we know we need to do. Because if we need to do it anyway, then why not do it now? Why think about it and feel low and down about the fact that we're not doing it, and then do it anyway? And the other thing is, we all have different times of the day when our energy is at their best, right? So the big things in your life that are most important to you, you need to make sure that in your calendar you block that time so that you're able to do your best work when it's best for you, right? For me, it's right after getting out of bed. Like, it's early mornings. For a lot of people, it's mid-morning. Some people are night owls. But you need to guard that time so that you have the energy to do that. For me, for instance, in terms of energy management, there are things that are tough for me to do, that I don't enjoy as much. I need more discipline. There's a certain time of day after which I'm unlikely to do them, right? So I'm a morning person.
So just know yourself and plan.
Absolutely.
Manage your time, spend it well.
Absolutely,
according to how best you are productive at.
Oh, and by the way, a game changer for you, just figure out the 2 hours when you're going to work on your dreams every day. Because everyone's got 2 hours.
Wow, Hery, there's something you mentioned earlier. You said you're selling your stuff. You're giving away your stuff.
Well, no.
Just briefly.
So I'm not. So basically, I'm entering a new phase in my life. I think in phases from the 1st of June. So I'm still in big corporate as well as having my company. So I'm giving up my big corporate position, all the privileges that go with it, and I'm taking my income back down to zero. Wow. So I'm going from June. I'm giving away all the income. I'm no longer collecting a paycheck like that, and I'm starting over in June because I feel a little bit complacent and I'm comfortable in all the things that I have, and I need to reinvent myself a little bit. So I need to zero down so that I can triple. Like, I can't go 10x by doing a little bit of corporate here, a little bit of these kind of board of directors meetings there. I need to get rid of all of that so that I can go full in 110% on one thing and grow that really fast.
You are a man with a plan.
I am a man. I am going to have a plan, absolutely, but also I need this because I preach, and the best way to preach is to actually do. So I will start on the 1st of June. I will document everything on video every day, how I build out my income streams to go from absolutely zero, and I'm a bit terrified about this. I will keep the car and the...
Me too.
I have to be. I have to be. But I'll keep my phone in my car, and of course I have my know-how and my network.
Yeah.
And so what I'm doing is, from zero, I will build back in 365 days until I have 3 times the income that I have today. And that's the promise. That's the public ask, and I will document exactly what I do every single day I will write down exactly how I execute the plan. And here's the gist of it. Again, you like talking pillars, so there's 3 pillars to this. I will need immediate income. So I will have to talk to people and try to sell something. Some of my time, I would have to exchange some of my time for money. So I'll need some roles and some things that I can do that I collect a paycheck from. Then the second thing is I have a company out of which I can pay salary, because then I would probably have to get rid of someone else, which is not fair, just because I decide to do a life change. So I can only pay a salary out of whatever I sell myself. Right? So I need to bring in new business and build out new products and services for the company. And when I do that, then I can start paying myself. That's medium term, right? That'll take some time. And then the third one, and this is the most exciting one, is I'm going to buy a few companies, ideally with no money down. And the way that works is I look at companies that fit exactly my skill set, and I will exchange my time for shares. So I will work for them, I will take over the company, and I will grow it. And in time, of course, that will be the biggest payoff. So that's high risk, high reward. That'll take a while. Then there's the bit where building out services and products. I think this will give you guys the most value, because I'll show exactly how I build services and products.
Wow.
That will be medium term. I think that'll be about 3 months until that's profitable. And then I need to sell a little bit of my time so I have immediate income so I can actually eat.
Guys, follow him up on his social media platforms, right? How can someone find you on social media everywhere?
It's Hery Henry. I will actually go and can I post on your wall, on Y254 wall after this?
Yeah. Yes,
I will go post. I have lots of friends from Nairobi who followed me from last time I was here. Yeah, guys. Either it works out great or I fail spectacularly and publicly. Either way, it's going to be a fantastic story, and I'm going to learn so much.
It won't fail, man.
It won't. It can't. Because the simple truth is, I will just take enough action so it won't.
I want us to bring this conversation to a close. I hope you've learned something from home. I really pray that you have. Quote of the day. This is by Robin Conley Downs. The quote goes, mindsets, habits, and routines are the building blocks for success towards your wellness goals. Do you agree with that?
Robin Conley Downs. Well done. Well done. I fully agree with that. I would just qualify that with, and all of these are only worth as much as the amount of action that you take, because the action is the multiplier for all of these.
Wow. Thank you so much, Hery. I wish you the best. Keep doing what you're doing. And I know we will have revisits for this conversation a bit later on.
Great pleasure.
Thank you so much.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Ram.
That brings us to the end of this conversation right on Power Talk. My name is Ram Aguko. This is Power Talk.